Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one of those videos where I remind you that THORnews survives and thrives on your contributions, donations, and letters. Because I'm going to be talking about volcanoes, and nothing gets me in more trouble, asterisk, women definitely get me in way more trouble, than talking about volcanoes. Yep, that's right, I'm over at the National Geographic, talking about how 6 underwater volcanoes were found hiding in plain sight. Now, let's be honest, man. Real estate moguls don't want you talking about volcanoes. People who are pro carbon tax don't want you talking about volcanoes. Pretty much just in general. Like, you don't hear science talk about volcanoes, though I got this from a volcano scientist. I'm not even going to say their name because I don't want them to get in trouble. Like, almost all the volcano scientists on Twitter have blocked me, which is understandable because we're dealing with crazy shit here. So I'm just saying, government doesn't want to talk about it. Like, we've had a volcano go off in Mexico, Popocatépetl, all year long. Like, all year long there's been activity. Like, what, outgassing, eruptions, ash, venting, the whole year. And I think I've only heard the mainstream media mention it once. Okay. So, we're talking about 6 underwater volcanoes have been found hiding in plain sight. And the whole point of my little diatribe right there was the fact that, well, nobody's really looking for them. I know one time when I was talking to a volcano scientist, they were like, it would be too hard to monitor all the volcanoes in the world. I was like, well, I guess, it's that much easier to monitor all the carbon in the world. Anywho, what was I talking about? Yeah, so lurking below a heavily trafficked waterway. The discovery highlights how many mysteries still simmer under the sea. Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. And so, pretty sure these are going to be Italian volcanoes. So, I would just like to say, buongiorno, buono notte, ciao, sono THORnews, come ti chiami, piacere di concerti, e tu. It was just fun to do. Okay. When the rocky mound lurched onto his computer screen, hey, wait a second. I'm not reading an erotic fiction, am I? When you got mounds lurching, it makes me think I'm reading a sexy book. Onto his computer screen, whoa, aboard the R-V OGS Explora. It's like Dora's less popular sister. Geophysicist Emanuele Lodolo couldn't believe his eyes. Just 4 miles off the coast of Sicily, where they've had Mount Etna, who's been erupting like crazy, and I imagine those volcanoes under there have been getting some activity as well. The team had stumbled on a previously unknown volcano with an old lava flow trailing some 2.5 miles westward across the seafloor. Like, I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of volcanoes off of the coast of California, Washington, Oregon. We don't monitor those at all. Not as far as I know. I mean, me and Dutch do, but, we're quite surprised about this. I'm not. I doubt Dutch is either. Because we were very close to the coast, says Lodolo, a researcher at TALIS, is that how I say it? National Institute of Oceanography and Experimental Geophysics. The edifice named Actea. Hey, my first name's T, so it's like Acme. Gross. Is one of the 6 volcanoes recently discovered while scientists were mapping the underwater landscape of the Sicilian Channel, a heavily trafficked waterway off the southwest coast of the island. Italy's an island? You learn something new every day. While Actea is the closest to the shore, the structures were all found in the northwest side of the channel, within 14 miles of land. Researchers report in the journal Marine Geology. Yeah, so like New England seamounts, their thing too, dude. Like, they got underwater volcanoes right off the coast of New York, right over here, which lead up. That's fascinating. It's not something we talk about, and I don't think we monitor them. So when people are like, oh my God, we're getting East Coast earthquakes, I'm like, yeah, when you have the gas giants on the same side, it always happens. And you had a volcano erupt right up here a couple 100,000 years ago, 10,000, 20,000, who knows? Time's fluid, but it goes forward. the volcanoes are not especially tall, comparatively speaking, rising between 52 and 350 feet from the seafloor. But because they sit inside the shallow channel, their tops are not very deep. Actea's peak is the shallowest, at just 10 feet. Eruptions from submarine volcanoes can pose hazards to both passing boats and populations nearby. Lodolo cautions that more study is needed to better understand potential risks from the new-found structures. And other geologists agree that any hazards are likely minimal. LOL, what? But the revelation that 6 volcanoes are looking under a region regularly crisscrossed by marine traffic underscores the importance of fully exploring what lies beneath the waves. Good luck with that. Sometimes when you're looking at an area that's relatively undiscovered, you don't even know what you might find. That's what she said. Says Western Washington University's Jackie Kaplan Auerbach. See, I told you it's a chick lady. Chick is, who studies submarine volcanoes. There are great mysteries in the ocean waiting to be discovered by oil companies, and I doubt they're going to share them with us. Italy's geological weirdness. The presence of 6 more volcanoes around Italy is perhaps not all that surprising. Personal sidebar, when I went to learn Italian to do this video, I went to this video and she's really cute. Are all Italian women that cute? If so, I think I'm moving. The presence of 6 more volcanoes around Italy is perhaps not at all surprising. Hell no, since these fiery features dot the landscape. The word volcano can trace its roots back to the simmering island of Volcano, north of Sicily, a spot where the Roman god of fire, Vulcan, supposedly forged weapons. I don't have any proof of that, but that's not going to keep social media from arguing about it. Italy's volcanism comes from the fact that the country rests near the collision of several tectonic plates. And I think that the sun's energy goes into the planet from the top and the bottom, the auroras, and charges our core, and that's what actually causes earthquakes and the tectonic plates and the surface to grow. But science is like, no, shut up. Now just get back to putting dinosaur bones in your car to make it work. Fragments of Earth's crust and upper mantle that are engaged in a game of geological bumper cars in places where the plates collide. One often dives beneath another, forming as what's known as a subduction zone. It's way different than a seduction zone. I don't even know, do they have those anymore? But in Italy, the situation is particularly complex. Wait, are you talking about the Italian fiscal debt nexus? That's a whole other subject. The country sits where the Eurasian and African plates are colliding. Can't we all just get along? The small Adriatic microplate is nestled between the two, to the east of Italy, where it's slightly twisting counterclockwise, kind of like your face. The situation gets even more wild south of Sicily. Yeah, I've heard. But those are rumors. There, the seabed is starting to pull apart in what's known as a rift. It's like the whole world is having a rift, thanks to a slight clockwise rotation of Sicily's southeastern regions. Things are quite weird, volcanologist Boris Bachnik said of Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, and he said it via a direct message on Twitter. In all, the shifting surface, say that, shushi by shishos with the shifting surface is squishy and pulling the region into a myriad of ways. Does that sound sexy to you? Sparking the rise of the volcanoes both on and offshore. While most of the Sicilian Channel submarine volcanoes have remained quiet since written records began, one burst to life in 1831. Guess what I'm going to do now? Well, will you looky-loo there? In 1831, and I just picked that year. They didn't give us a specific date, so I just went with today's date. But in 1831, not only did you have all the gas giants on the same side, literally no balance in the solar system, But you had Eris doing a semi-close, or a lot closer it was then than it is now. Or maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, see how, once again, we can trace any type of major volcanic activity to, and that's actually almost even in a, where's Earth in all this? Yeah, so like Earth, it's almost like Earth is lined up with Jupiter, almost Uranus, and then Eris. Check that out. Whoa. Okay, great. Wow, I do a lot of hardcore real science here. Forming the now submerged Ferdinandinian Sea island along 25 miles from the coast. I've never really traveled outside the United States of America much. Be nice someday. I've heard Italy's nice, and I've heard y'all's gelato is like better than Bluebell ice cream, which is hard to believe, but whatever. And I have heard Italian women are beautiful, plus their skin is soft to the touch. Tiny compasses. The newfound structures sit closer to the shore than previously known. Underwater volcanoes among a series of north shore, south, I threw shore in there, oriented faults that the researchers believe acted as conduits for rising magma over the course of 2 research cruises in August 2017 and February 2018. The team studied these structures in exquisite detail. First, they charted their varied surfaces, creating 3D maps of submarine topography, craters, lava flows, landslide scars, and all. Next, they used magnetic analysis to confirm that the structures are actually volcanoes and not just submarine hillsides. What are those for, like submarine homes and submarine garages? Igneous rocks, which are formed from the crystallization of lava or magma, contain a fair amount of magnetic minerals, as does your face. As the rocks stay cool, the magnetic minerals act like tiny compass needles. Oh, it's like, what do they call that when they stick needles in you? It's not feng shui. Oh, acupuncture. All right, great. How about some feng shui acupuncture? Oh, God, my jokes are bad tonight. Encoding the orientation of Earth's magnetic field, Kaplan Auerbach explains. This shit is so stressful, man, so I just have to put in jokes to tone down the stress. They kind of all bow down to magnetic north. Bend the knee. And then they freeze in place, she says. That's what she says. Really. That means a sheet or mound of volcanic rock in which all these tiny compasses align would have a strong magnetic anomaly. And that's just what the team saw when scanning the lobes. Why don't you come scan my lobe, baby? Oh my God, the internet's going to kill me for saying shit like that. So here we are. Let's meet our Sicilian volcanoes. We have Actea, Clemenini, Durad, Linera, Lanessa, and the Nesty Plunge. Nessie Plunge. But if you add the T from Actea, then you get the Nesty Plunge. And obviously Actea is the tallest of all these volcanoes. So you got your center here, your power forward, your small forward, your point guard. Oh my God, I'm missing a position. That's what she said. I'm being bad today, and no one's in a mood for forgiveness. Great. The scientists also mapped out the shallow subsurface and high-resolution seismic profiles by emitting pings of sounds at a frequency that can penetrate the seafloor. Why is geology always so sexual? And will then bounce back. Last night I took an L, but then I bounced back, revealing different layers of sediment and rock. Lodolo compares the system to taking an X-ray of Earth, allowing them to tease apart the delicate subsurface structures. Oh my God, you have no idea how badly I want to tease apart your delicate subsurface structures, baby. Anatomy of a volcano. Hey, look, man, if you need someone to tell you the world's going to end and everything's doomy, we got no chance, this is not the channel for you. If it is kind of doomy, I'm telling bad jokes. From these analyses, the teams deduced that 5 of the volcanoes seem to have erupted just once, sometime around the last glacial maximum, which would be about 20,000 years ago. They're likely what are known as monogenic volcanoes, which often form in clusters of cones that each erupt only once before going quiet. Oh, it'd be like the equivalent if you only had one orgasm in your life and then your orgasm maker never worked again. Fresh activity in the region often means the birth of a new volcanic cone. Yeah, how can you talk about freaking births of new volcano babies without talking about sex? That's called an upbeat. When I speak in at the end, I try to give the punchline a higher tone. An area will just pop off once in a while, just like me, and form a volcano. But pop off is more like you insult somebody back who's been insulting you. Although insulting people never really helps. Explains Bill Chadwick, a geologist specializing on seafloor processes at the NOAA Pacific Marine Environmental Laboratory. However, Actea may have erupted again at a later date, as evidenced by the 2.25-mile lava-long flow that the team found solidified off its flanks. Say that one fast 7 times. And then go make some chocolate milk. It's now the largest flow yet found in the northwest Sicilian Channel, according to Lodolo, who compares its size to those pumped out by Italian giants, TMI, including Vesuvius and Mount Etna. Actea and one of its volcanic neighbors named Crimini both harbor another fascinating feature: bubbles rising from their craters. Oh my god, so now, am I going to get shit from actual Italian real estate gangsters? I'm not talking about the ones from the West Coast. I've had enough trouble with them. Somehow I still survived. Now am I going to get real trouble from the real Italian gangsters? Oh, at least those guys have honor. You know what I'm saying? Both harbor another fascinating feature: bubbles. Who doesn't love bubbles? Bubbles rising from their craters. Without chemical analysis of the bubbles, however, it's tough to pinpoint their source. Cautions Kaplan or Bach. It's possible they could be the result of biogenic activity releasing methane gas, but they could also be the product of hydrothermal activity. If the latter is confirmed, that means they're not stone cold dead. Is there such a thing as like warm dead? I guess there is, but like you must have just died, Chadwick says. Although such activity is not evidence of pending eruption, rather signals the presence of hot rocks lingering below the surf structures. Lodolo and his team next hope to study the gas being emitted from these systems to get a better grasp on their source. Good idea. They also plan to study the chemistry of the rocks to learn more about the timing of past eruptions and the evolution of these volcanoes. After all, further analyzing the structures could yield clues to how volcanism occurs both in Sicily, and perhaps other regions around the world. Examining interactions between all these processes puts another piece in the puzzle that is the planet. And the more pieces we get, the clearer the picture. Have you ever thought people don't necessarily want you to get a clear picture of what exactly is going on and how to solve these problems and how to better deal with this stuff because there's money to be made and power to be consolidated? I do. Was that the end of our article? It was. All right, well, here I go, bringing you the hardcore science again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And you know why? Because I love you, and I love the truth. So if you want to support me, your planetary defense commander, and the person who runs this channel, I got a variety of ways you can do it. They'll all be in the information box. Thank you guys. I love you guys. And, man, we learned a lot about hidden volcanoes in plain sight today. And, once again, all the gas giants were on the same side. And Eris was close and almost aligned with Earth. Although I didn't have the date specifically, but I'm sure it's no surprise. All right, peace out. God bless everyone. And let's live long and prosper together, as the most famous Vulcan of all time said.